Tonight on Business Live, the National Petroleum Authority commences investigations into recent increase in prices of diesel after approved data shows that the price of fuel should have gone down at the pumps. Also, vendors of building materials lament low sales of their products due to an increase in prices. We'll bring you details.
Happy, sometimes giving out the price to our customers. We are scared they might go away, and besides, you are not the only one selling wood around.
Plus, European Union to formalize over 600 micro, small and medium-sized enterprises in Ghana. We'll hear from its implementing partners, which involves the Chamber of Entrepreneurs Ghana. All these and more coming up shortly. You stay with us. Hello, welcome. I'm Charles Ayitey. Tonight, the National Petroleum Authority has begun investigations into the recent increase in the price of diesel. Industry and previous price indicators approved by the regulator show that the price of diesel should have gone down marginally at the pumps. Sources say the authority will sanction firms found to have shortchanged their consumers. George Rafi has more in this report.
Sources say the move by the National Petroleum Authority was influenced by complaints from some consumers. This because based on the price indicators, or let's say the ban that was approved by the National Petroleum Authority for diesel, prices should have been reduced, whilst petrol should have gone up by some 7% per litre. Checks by Joy Business show that a litre of diesel has gone up by some 4%. Petrol has also been increased by a lower margin compared to the 7% earlier projected. The National Petroleum Authority has indicated that it will not hesitate to compel these firms to review their prices if it is established that consumers are being shortchanged. But the oil marketing firms on their part have argued that the change in price at the pumps has more to do with limited supply of diesel, which is not pushing the prices up when it should have gone down. They argue that the current dynamics in the industry is not helping most of the players in the country.
Now, Tullow Oil has agreed to combine with its UK rival Capricorn Energy through an all-share deal that will create an Africa-focused but London-listed oil and gas specialist with a market value of more than £1.4 billion. Now, this deal marks a comeback for Tullow, whose future had been in doubt until it struck a critical $1.8 billion refinancing deal last year. Speaking early on the marketplace, energy specialist Dr. Yusuf Suleimana says the deal is enough to further boost Tullow's operations.
Such a combination is a unique one, and I think it's something that observers would like to wait and see how everything pans out. Why am I saying that? I mean, at this moment in time, when companies are combining, people will stand by and ask, why is this combination at this time? However, mergers and acquisitions are things that are happening. They are phenomena that happen within the industry. And why do companies undergo this kind of strategic move? First of all, sometimes, if you have a company or if you have two more companies who have some unique weaknesses and strengths, those companies could decide to come together, where their weaknesses are nullified, and then so that they can strengthen their strengths. In this case, I think these companies, in my opinion, I think they want to build up their financial wherewithal and their technical capability. And especially, I'm more particular about the financial capability, because if you look at what is happening in the industry now, Oil and gas industry is subjected into what we call capital discipline. There's a lot of capital discipline within the industry, whereby investment to the world of hydrocarbon is facing a lot of challenge, basically due to what we call ESG, that is environmental social governance. Climate change or green energy movement is becoming so strong that investment is beginning to shift to that area. So there's that competition. So organizations will have to build up their financial muscle so that if investment within the world of hydrocarbon gets further constrained, they will be capable of reinvesting or investing into their fields just to churn out more oil into the global basket. Yeah.
Now, the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC, has expressed worry about the lack of impact of petroleum-funded projects in Ghana. It is therefore calling for the amendment of the Petroleum Revenue Management Law to ensure that the annual budget funding amount is specifically used to finance oil projects only. Eric Defo is a member of PIAC.
GNPC is in a dual role. GNPC is operating one as a national oil company and at the same time as a commercial entity. Now, as a commercial entity, you expect that this board will be constituted by the creme de la creme of the business community. As a state institution also, it is possible to have representation from different independent institutions similar to what pertains with PIAC. But we have a situation where you can't find this blend on the board. And therefore, some of the decisions that are taken are either not purely commercial or purely state. There's a mix and it makes it difficult. GNPC as a national oil company must build its capacity to be able to compete with the other international oil companies. We are putting a lot of resource, 55% of our carried and participatory interest revenue into GNPC. And the purpose is just for it to build its capacity and take the commanding heights of our petroleum industry. But if GNPC is beginning to solve social problems that are reserved for government to do, through corporate social investment, etc., then it defeats the purpose of resourcing GNPC to build its capacity. So that is a major concern, and we feel that the structure of GNPC's board must be looked at. Even the recruitment of the chief executive should be a board decision, not the decision of government. So these are governance challenges that exist with GNPC, which we feel, if addressed, will reduce the kind of findings we also make on GNPC's reports that we feel are not appropriate use of oil resource. GNPC should not be guaranteeing other government institutions borrowing. Neither should GNPC be in a position to be giving loans to other government institutions. GNPC is not a financial institution, it's not a bank.
Away from that, now passengers who would want to ply the London route, even via transit through other European airlines, may be hit with some challenges and delays. It's coming after British Airways cut its daily flights on the Accra-London-Accra route to 5 from 7 times.
Business is learning that for persons that want to look for alternate flights to London via other major European airlines, will now have to deal with the transit visa challenge before they can reach their final destination, that is London. Now, Joy Business is learning that persons that are traveling with the Dutch airlines KLM will need a transit visa. But we also gather that the Dutch embassy is trying to have a quota on the number of visas that are issued by its officials. This might make it difficult for everyone flying with KLM to London to get there on time. Well, the challenge is not only with KLM that is demanding these transit visas, because Brussels and Air France are also requiring the same. Sources say this is due to the strict enforcement of the Brexit rules. Well, for those that still want to explore the transit routes to London, maybe they can consider flying with Kenya Airways or Ethiopian Airlines to London. Well, for now, if you insist on getting a direct flight to London with British Airways, then it will only be available on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays and Sunday. And also for the month of June, you should be prepared to pay not less than $2,500 for an economy class ticket that is from Accra, London, Accra.
Away from that, in an aggressive move to support green businesses that make use of waste materials and promote climate resilience, SNV Netherlands Development Organization has partnered the Ghana Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs to facilitate a series of business support clinics for micro, small and medium-sized enterprises in the Ashanti, Northern and Western regions. Now, this partnership forms part of the Boosting Green Employment and Enterprises Opportunities in Ghana. That is the green project that SNV Ghana has been implementing from funding, of course, from the European Union. Well, the Chief Executive of the Chamber of Entrepreneurs, Sheriff Gali, as well as the Business Development Advisor for SNV, Frederick Aqua, both join us via Zoom for more. So, Sheriff, I want to start with you. What is the state, first of all, what is the state of micro, small and medium-sized enterprises in the catchment areas that you aim to impact through this partnership?
Sheriff, I want to start with you. What is the state, first of all? I
think we're having issues with Sheriff's line. So let me bring you in. Of course, our guest from the SNV. Of course, we do know that this partnership is part of efforts to boost the competitiveness of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. But help us appreciate the standing of these enterprises that you hope to impact.
Thank you, and good evening to our cherished listeners. As a project being spearheaded by SNV, we are implementing this in the Ashanti and then the Western regions. And currently, we are looking to support about 1,500 businesses across these regions. And these are basically micro or small-scale businesses.
Yes. We catch that particular information, Frederick, but I want us to appreciate the state of these MSMEs that is actually driving SNV and the Chamber of Entrepreneurs to intervene through the EU funding.
Exactly. So I was coming there. So these businesses or micro enterprises have nothing on formalization. So they are not registered. We are not keeping any track of them when it comes to even taxation and so on and so forth. And so we are partnering with the Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs to help formalize these businesses so that whatever quota belongs to the government, also the government can achieve from there in terms of taxes.
How much of funding are we looking at?
So with these businesses, we are looking at, after formalizing them, we have a challenge that we give them, and those that are able to succeed in this challenge, some are awarded up to 3,000 euros to move their businesses forward, and some are also, those at the higher end, are also supported up to 25,000 euros in that regard.
We do know that the EU is really supporting through its funds, but help us appreciate from SNV's point of view, how much is Ghana losing from the untapped potential of these MSMEs across our 16 regions?
Exactly. So, like I mentioned, we have about 1,500 SMEs that this project alone is working with, and none of them were formalized before we came in. So you can imagine the potential of revenue that the government is losing from them in terms of paying their taxes, and then also even we helping them to grow. They are able to employ more people, and if they are employing more people, they are also contributing to national development and growth. And so this number should even tell us how much we are losing, even with just this project alone. Not talking about the other interventions that we have with other projects as SNV.
All right, Frederick, hold on there. Let me get in touch with Sheriff Gali of the Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs. Of course, the project, as we know, aims to, as it were, formalize these enterprises. But what rollover returns will this have on Ghana's SME sector, Sheriff?
All right, so thank you very much, Chas. I hope you can hear me. So we, like Fred was trying to indicate, that we have a vast majority of informalized business or businesses that are not formalized in our economy, and thereby Ghana loses a lot. We are not able to even get them into the tax net, and even most of these businesses are not able to scale up because they are not formalized. They get to points where because they are not formalized, they might not be able to access certain support. So at the end of the day, you see businesses doing very well in these various catchment areas, but then they are not able to scale up. They are just at one place doing the normal businesses. So Fred said, we have seen the need to help these businesses formalize. And we are not only leaving it there, we are working together with some financial institutions to provide funding to these businesses so that those that are willing or are able to scale up can scale up. And we believe that when we have a good number of businesses being able to formalize, they will contribute to the overall GDP of the country, and that in turn will make our economy grow.
Just before you go, I want you to help us with the overall investments being injected into this venture.
So together with our partner, we are injecting not less than 200 cedis. That's our effort, 200,000 Ghana cedi effort into supporting this close to about 600 or so businesses. And we are targeting 13 districts in the Western Ashanti and Northern region together. And we're also targeting at least 50 SMEs in each district. And we'll be supporting them to register their businesses. If they are doing products or producing products that need to be standardized or that need to be certified by FDA, we'll be supporting them to do that. So that is our effort. But I'm happy you've asked, and I'm sure Joy is also contributing by giving us a platform to talk more. So we can also add Joy's investment to this as well. Yeah.
And of course, that's why we're here, to give, SMEs a platform. We're grateful Chief Executive of the Chamber of Entrepreneurs, Sheriff Gali, as well as the Business Development Advisor at SNV Ghana, Frederick Aqua, for this information. You're still watching Business Live. Still to come, some vendors of building materials lament the low sales of their products due to an increase in prices. We'll bring you details. Do stay with us.
Unhappy, sometimes giving out the price to our customers. We are scared they might go away, and besides, you are not the only one selling wood around.
Now, suppliers of building materials in Accra are worried about a dip in sales. According to them, they're making losses because of price fluctuations. James Ishin visited them and has come through with this report.
Been a colossal increase in the prices of various building materials across the country. According to some construction materials wholesalers and merchants, this is due to inflation, policy rates and the amount of imported building supplies in the country. Kofi, who is into the production of wood for building, says the government should be willing to collaborate with the private sector to keep building materials prices in check. He stated that wholesalers charge customers outrageous prices, scaring them away.
Expenses are too much, transport is too much. Before sending money, so we do have no more. Now I say, "Neman boy, didn't you? Obi craft floor say, Obusawa the other boy. Before so be you are not actually say be a senior ton and senior ton."
It's very expensive conveying the wood and other building materials to Accra. We feel unhappy sometimes giving out the price to our customers. We are scared they might go away, and besides, you are not the only one selling wood around.
But I think
the government should step in and control the prices. We know it's a general problem, but the authorities should not sit aloof for citizens to make their own decisions. Fifi has been in the cement business for 17 years. According to him, wholesalers and merchants would have to beg some customers before purchasing their product. He explains the clients believe that the supplies are being sold at exorbitant cost on purpose.
So I'm at the time is low. See about because
there is a dip in sales. You could get 2 bags of cement with 100 cedis months ago, but now you cannot. The buyers think it's a deliberate act by we the sellers to increase the prices. We need to even beg them to come around to buy the materials.
The complaints are those.
Now, what cement bag? Currently, what is the price for a cement bag?
Currently, in Sicilian cement, no. Near me was near 32.5 grade, and we're 58. And they are 42.5 and here 63.
Okay, aside cement, what are some of the materials a big cost because roofing plaster, some plywood be near then almost are their prices stable or and also price never shoot up?
Shoot up. I find it's a governance.
The prices of everything here in my shop has shot up astronomically. The roofing sheet was 28 cedis recently, but now 32 cedis. Plywood is now 52 cedis, but 48 cedis weeks ago. The price of imported materials have really shot up, but the prices of the local manufactured materials is manageable.
Locally, no, ni shoot,
Some of these merchants are bewailing the rate at which prices rise. Antiafi, a paint and other materials vendor, voiced her displeasure with the rate at which prices rise in a shorter period of time.
The cost of building materials have shot up astronomically. You would have to add up any time you're going to buy any building materials from the wholesalers because the prices aren't stable. The glue was sold at 90 cedis, but now 130 cedis. Wheelbarrow was 220 cedis just last Friday, but now 240 in the space of 3 days. Because of that, we cannot even make the end profit, but end up running at loss. The rate at which the prices go up is mind-boggling.
Hey, 220. May fracra me be sana cry 260. And to hear sir, nose, no 45 Ghana cedis. And your total 640, 64, 64, and wakra, and to buy a ɛno nti wotɔ nneɛma no a sisi a ne atum na ɛkɔ soro nti nneɛma no deɛ ɛkɔ soro.
Things will never change with John unless Ghanaians adjust their business approach. Citizens, he believes, have a role to play in this. We shouldn't always blame the government for the hike in prices. We know it has a part to play in this. But I think we, the citizens, are to be blamed because we keep increasing prices without directive from the authorities. We need to give the right price out there to the customers. However, Charles, who also sells wood, attributes the increase to the hike in fuel prices. Ours is influenced by the fuel increment. We just don't increase the price of the wood.
So this is what most of these sellers of building materials are saying. Most of them are clearly saying there had been a dip in the sales of building materials. Basically, people are not really showing up to buy some of the building materials, which you could talk of cement, the wood, the nails, and other roofing sheet and all. It's clearly taking a great toll on their businesses. For Joy Business, James Ishen.
And that's how we end Business Live. I'm Charles Ayitey. We have more news on myjoyonline.com. Many thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of our programs.